Day, buenas tardes, Pastor Junior. Right? So I have a word here. Y la palabra que dice, God's ability is not limited, right? God's ability is not limited to man's ability to understand. Right? Esta otra vez. It says, God's ability is not limited to man's ability to understand. Right? And it's Paul writing to the Ephesians, chapter 3, verse 20, que dice, God is able to do exceedingly abundantly more than people can ask or imagine. Right? Ahí te otra vez. Ephesians chapter 3, verse 20. Right? Paul writing to the Ephesians with the statement que dice, God's ability is not limited by man's ability to understand. And Paul writing to the Ephesians chapter 3, verse 20, que dice, God is able to do exceedingly abundantly more than people can ask or imagine. Right? And what example do we have there? Well, tenemos a Hannah. Right? Tenemos a Hannah. Right? We have Hannah in the book of 1 Samuel. Right? ¿Y qué pasó con Hannah? Well, Hannah prayed for, right? Hannah prayed for one son, right? But she had Samuel, and was eventually blessed with 5 more children. And she was eventually blessed with 5 more children, right? Are you praying for children? All right, and you prayed for one son. Lord, just give me one son, right? Y que digo Hannah, Hannah said, Lord, if you give me the son, I would bless you. I would surrender him to you. Right, which we had Samuel. We read the book of Samuel, 1 Samuel and 2 Samuel. Right, once again with the statement que dice, God's ability, right? Once again, God's ability is not limited by man's what? Man's ability to understand. Right? And I just quoted Paul writing to the Ephesians. It says, God is able to do exceedingly abundantly, right? More than people can ask or imagine. Notice that. Right? And we cross-reference that with what? With Hannah. In 1 Samuel chapter 1 and 2, she prayed for one son, but she had Samuel, right? And was eventually blessed with 5 more children. And she was eventually blessed with 5 more children. Notice that. Right? And you read that in 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 21. 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 21. She had 3 sons and 2 daughters. 3 sons and 2 daughters on top of Samuel. So once again, God's ability is not limited, right? God's ability is not limited by man's ability to understand. Right? So don't lose faith, man. God is able. God works, what? Once again, God works in ways that often exceed human expectations. Right? God works in ways that often exceeds human expectations. And we have it in first. We have Hannah. Hannah prayed for one son. ¿Y qué pasó? Well, she got 3 sons and 2 daughters on top of Samuel. Right? So, once again, God's ability is not limited by man's ability to understand. So don't try to understand it. We are called to walk by faith and not by sight. Amen? Órale, just a word of encouragement.